Hi everyone, your program A Closer Look. Uh, we are here and तव्हां सभिनी खे अली मुमताज़ जो सलाम. जीअं त recently पाकिस्तान जी तमामु हिकिड़ी वॾी शख़्सियत, सिंध जी तमामु हिकिड़ी वॾी शख़्सियत साईं निसार अहमद सिद्दीकी जन जी वफ़ात थी, and after his death, uh, on the several forums at the different like mainstream media, on social media, people are talking about his life and his services, and people are very much kind of curious and they need to know what is going to happen. Mr. Siddiqui was awarded as with the Sitara-e-Imtiaz in Pakistan. Mr. Siddiqui was recently known as the Sir Syed Ahmad Khan of the modern Pakistan or Sindh, because of his services in the education. In a silsile mein, today we have invited our two notable and respectable guests from USA. असांखे अॼु जॉइन कयो आहे डॉक्टर जावेद लेगारी साहब जन, ऐं साईं जूं तमामु वॾियूं ख़िदमतूं रहियूं आहिनि. साईं हायर एजुकेशन कमीशन सां वाबस्ता रहिया आहिनि. साईं जो जेको आहे सो ज़ेबिस सां तालुक़ु रहियो आहे. त अॼु असां साईं सां कचहरी कंदासीं हुन सिलसिले में. ऐं ॿियो जेको असांजो रेस्पेक्टेबल गेस्ट आहे साईं एजाज़ तुर्क साहब. साईं जूं ॾाढियूं महिरबानियूं, हुननि असांखे उहे बि अॼु असांखे जॉइन कयो आहे. त कोशिशि कंदासीं त साईं सिद्दीकी साहब जी लाइफ ते, उनजी सर्विसिस ते जेतिरो कुझु थी सघे असां तव्हां सभिनी दोस्तनि सां शेयर कयूं. ऐं असां ड्यूरिंग द प्रोग्राम तव्हांजे कमेंट्स खे एप्रिशिएट था कयूं. प्लीज़ पंहिंजा कमेंट्स या तव्हांखे कोई बि क्वेश्चन हुजे त तव्हां असांखां पुछी सघो था, ऐं असां कोशिशि कंदासीं त तव्हांखे उनजो जवाबु ॾियूं. त सभ खां पहिरीं साईं जावेद लगारी साहब, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस टुनाइट. Before we start our show, I would request you to kindly introduce yourself so the variety of the viewers who are watching our show, they know that who is Dr. Javed Laghari.
Thank you, Ali Mumtaz, and hello, Ajaz Turk Sab. My name is Javed Laghari, and I am, like Nisar Siddiqui, an educationist. But Nisar Siddiqui was first a bureaucrat, and then he converted into an educationist. I have been an educationist all my life. Ever since I went to kindergarten, I have not left school. This is my general definition. So, first, working as a faculty member in the United States for 15 years, I was a professor of engineering at State University of New York in Buffalo. From there, I moved to Pakistan, and jointly with Shahid Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto, we established Zabist, which, of course, as you all know what Zabist is, with multiple campuses and colleges. And from Zabist, I moved on to become the chairperson of the Higher Education Commission in Islamabad. And eventually, then I returned back to the US. That's my background.
Thank you very much, sir. हाणे साईं मां साईं तुर्क साहब खे रिक्वेस्ट कंदो. साईं तुर्क साहब पंहिंजी सना जे हवाले सां या सोशल सर्विसिस जे हवाले सां इलाही सभु दोस्त सुञाणनि था, पर साईं तव्हांखे मां रिक्वेस्ट कंदुसि त तव्हां ब्रीफली कैन यू प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ.
Before I introduce myself, I think Javed skipped one flag in his head. He was a senator of Pakistan also. People's Party, that's why he was very close to Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto. After he left Zabist, he became while he was there, simultaneously he was the chairman, he was a senator as a technocrat, and then he became higher education chairman. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm a practicing gastroenterologist. I belong to Turk in Sindh. My village is Pajara. I have been here for the last 38 years in America as a practicing gastroenterologist, and I have been allied with this Sindhi Association of North America since 1987, and Javed, again, skipped that. Also, he's one of the founding members of the Sindhi Association of North America, and practically speaking, he was the initial general secretary of SANA also. So
well, technically speaking,
together for a long time. Yeah.
The first member of SANA, 1985.
Yes, 1985, the first member of SANA. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. So let's proceed with our show tonight. Mr. Laghari, I'm going to ask you that before we talk about the services of Mr. Siddiqui, if I ask you a very straightforward question, how do you know Mr. Siddiqui as a person than as a educationist?
Well, I have known Mr. Siddiqui almost since 1993 when he was Commissioner Sukkur. Actually, he served as Commissioner Sukkur twice. And at that time, he was also was a visiting faculty at Khairpur University, was teaching there also, part, as a visiting faculty while he was a commissioner. So he had a big interest in teaching and in academic institutes. And he also, when I moved to Pakistan in 1995, even at that time, it was his dream to establish an institute. So he would come and have a lot of discussions with me. And at that time, there was no IBS Hakkar, and there was nothing that what we know of is an iconic institution of Sindh. So that is how I know him as a very dedicated educationist, bureaucrat, a great personality, and a very honest, down to earth, hardworking person.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So before we proceed with our discussion further, I go to the Dr. Ajaz Turk with the same question, that your interaction with Mr. Siddiqui, and how would you describe him as a person, as an educationist, as a social activist in the field of education?
I was introduced to Mr. Nisar Siddiqui while I was, active in Sana, and that's how we established a relationship with the Zabist, and that's how we were introduced about 15 years ago. And I always say that an educationist and the institution builders, these are two different things. There are a lot of educationists, but Nisar Siddiqui Sahab, he was a builder. He established an institution. For to establish an institution, you need certain qualities. One, you have to have integrity.
Yeah.
Then you have to have a passion. And then you have to be honest, and you have to be capable, and you have to be educated. So, मुझे ख्याल में the Siddiqui Sahab had all those qualities, and these are rare qualities in one person. And I found him down to earth, but he used to take a stand. He never compromised on the quality. He never allowed any interference. In the country like Pakistan, where our society is so unfortunately dishonest and compromises on every step, and he stood fast, and then he never compromised on anything. Even I remember somebody had influenced him for the peon, and he refused. And that person was very influential, and his subordinates said, "कि तां रखी छॾियो आहे, कहिड़ो फ़र्क़ु थो पए? हरू भरू गड़बड़ थी वेंदी, कीअं त बाबा ॾिसो हिन पटियाले खे रखंदासीं, पर इहो पटियालो सुभाणे, he is not going to honor you. He is not going to listen to you because he knows that he has come through some other influence. He has not come because of his capability or merit. So he never compromised on the merit, which is, I think, a great thing about great people, and that Siddiqui Sahab, by all these criteria, he was a great man.
Great, thank you. I'm now going back to Mr. Laghari. Sir, as we know, you have served in the very highest academic and like a educational higher education commission, like a institute in Pakistan. So, and also you have the affiliation with a political, like you have been affiliated with a political party there in Pakistan. So would you please let us know that in a society like Pakistan, where I believe most of us will agree on the point that there all the departments are broken and there is a lot of corruption and there is so much influence from different directions. So in that, into these circumstances, how Mr. Siddiqui was able to establish an institute like IBA with a distinction?
Okay, first of all, let me tell you that all politicians are not bad. Even institutions cannot succeed without the patronage of political parties and of political governments. For example, currently we have an example of the NICVD, which is a very successful hospital in Sindh, And that
Yes.
again is because of the political patronage of the present government, which is Pakistan People's Party, and you have to give credit to that. Likewise, even when IBA Sukkur was established at that time, obviously it was Nisar Siddiqui's dream. But the people who were actually behind it, even at that time, and I'm a witness to that, was the MNA from Sukkur, Khurshid Shah, and the governor of Sindh, Kamal Asfar. It was Kamal Asfar who brought in IBA Karachi, because Kamal Asfar was the chancellor of the universities in Sindh, and he made sure that IBA Karachi provide all possible assistance, including the initial affiliation to IBA Sukkur. So political patronage, of course, is very important. Now comes the second question: is how can you now free yourself from these shackles? Because it's the same scenario. Okay, well, मैंने तुम्हें ये नौकरी दिलवाई थी या मैंने तुम्हें ये किया था. Now you have to listen to me and appoint my people. I think this is where now your own personality comes into the picture. That how determined you are, how passionate you are, like Dr. Ajaz Turk mentioned, in terms of ensuring that the institution that has now been established at ground zero succeeds into becoming an institution. One example, of course, that I have personally gone through is Zabist. I mean, a lot of PPP people claim that, well, Zabist was there, and of course, everybody who served on our board were all politicians, big name politicians, and BB, of course, herself was the chancellor and the chairperson of the institute. But there was no political interference in the institution, and I think that is what happened to IBA Sukkur, that even though it was built with the backing of political support, but afterwards there had been no political interference in the functioning of the institute.
Very well said, Dr. Saab, very well said. Before I go to Dr. Ajaz, I would add, with your permission, that I am the eyewitness of what you said. We had the in-person meeting with Mr. Siddiqui when he visited Sana, and he did tell these stories, his interaction with Khurshid Shah and other notable area politicians who supported him. But he was quite clear with them that I will not take your any influence in terms of, or like to sacrifice or oversight the merit. So yeah, that is really very good. So now I'm going to Dr. Ajaz. Dr. Ajaz, as we know that because of Mr. Siddiqui's integrity, honesty, his hard work, what we all are here to, like tonight we are talking about. So now after his sad demise, so where do you see his legacy? Where do you see the future of IBA? I mean, I want to know, like, does he establish a team or who's going to run it now, his affairs?
As far as legacy of Nisar is concerned, I think before I come to that, I will continue on what Javed was talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only Corona is pandemic. It is corruption is also pandemic. It's all relative terms. Institutions do not fail only because of corruption. Institutions fail because of the incompetence. But if he's competent, then that institution will prevail. Nisar Siddiqui Sahab, I think he was a competent. He knew how to get the things done. Because this is an art, that to get the things done. Javed will, I'm sure, will agree with me. But if you are not dreamer, if you don't have the vision, and if you are not competent, you are bound to fail. So to be a teacher or professor, that is totally a different thing. To be an institution builder is totally a different thing. That's what makes Nisar a unique person in this drought in Pakistan and Sindh especially, that we have very limited competent people. If there are competent people, they are not given due opportunity. And there is a lot of politicization, and JK Talim Idaran may Bhatu Tiantu administrative Bhatu with political safari Tiantu. And in the Sindhuja JK Talim Idara, I'm sure that's true in rest of the provinces of Pakistan also. But since I am from Sindh, so I know about Sindh. Sindhuja Talimi Idara, जेके इन करे तबाह थिया आहिनि जे के बि भर्तियूं थियूं आहिनि उहे पॉलिटिकल सिफारिश ते थियूं आहिनि उन में पोइ कॾहिं कॾहिं क़िस्मत सां को अची वेंदो आहे कॉम्पिटेंट माण्हू हूंदो आहे त पोइ कमु हलाए वेंदो आहे पर बाय एंड लार्ज जेके इनकॉम्पिटेंट सिफारिश ते घणो करे जेके माण्हू ईंदा आहिनि उहे घणो करे इनकॉम्पिटेंट हूंदा आहिनि बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव कैपेसिटी. If they were competent, why would they survive? They would be confident. I am capable and I have got merit, and he will come and compete. बाकी रही ॻाल्हि हाणे फ्यूचर ऑफ ज़ाबिस्ट जी ॻाल्हि था कयो त ॾिसो न निसार वॉज अ ग्रेट गाय. I always say that it's a big setback, but we should not कि भाई हाणे निसार साहब हली वियो no it's the end of the world. No, it is not. It should not be the end of the world. We have to find people. I'm sure there are people, and जेको ॾिसां थो त we should start looking at youth, young people, young professors or young administrators. उन्हनि खे opportunity ॾियो because it's their future. Their vision is totally different. असांजे जेके बायला जेके कुराड़ा जेके आहिनि जे पोड़ा जेके आहिनि उनमें तमामु थोरा जेके आहिनि विजनरीज़ रहिया आहिनि जेके विजनरीज़ हुजनि हा त सिंध जो अहिड़ो हाल हेसि ताईं हींअर न हुजे हा त मुंहिंजे ख़्याल में I see a bright future of Zabist unless they pick a political appointee. If they appoint a political appointee on Sifarish and the person is incompetent, then this institution, no matter what you do, is doomed. But if they are wise enough and they are sincere to the people of Sindh, sincere to this institution, the government must and should appoint a competent person who has a vision, who is a dreamer, who is an educationist. I think preferably if young from within institutions, I think then I see a good future for Zabist, and that should be applied to other institutions in Sindh also.
Well said, Syed. I believe you mean like a IBA, like a mistakenly you said.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
IBA. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I think it's a slip.
Because Javed is sitting.
Just for the.
I think whenever people look, whenever people look
Javed
at
is
me,
so overwhelming that I've just he overshadows me. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I meant IBA.
Yeah, I think whenever people look at me, the thing that comes into their mind is Zabist. So Ajaz was referring to IBA, of course.
Yes, definitely IBA.
Some folks are watching. I'm going to write them that they are welcome to ask us if they have any question. So before I move to our other different topic to explore further about the contribution in life of Mr. Siddiqui, I would continue on the same question with Dr. Laghari. Dr. Laghari, I'm here living in this country. I'm a Canadian now for last more than 16, 17 years. So, and I personally has worked in the public sector. I am working in a public sector. And I'm a previous faculty member of Mehran University. I was faculty member in Mehran University. So based on my that experience and also living here, one thing I have learned, which I want to ask from you, that team building is the success for any institution. Or so based on your interaction with Mr. Siddiqui and your knowledge, that was Mr. Siddiqui able to build a team that if he's gone, which unfortunately he's no more with us, that there are some capable folks or team that can run his affairs and they can also continue his institute and his all the community colleges he established in a well manner?
Well, let me tell you that institutions cannot be built by individuals alone. So if IBA Sukkur has already been built as an institution, just like Zabist was built as an institution, it automatically means there was a team that was running the institution. It was not Nisar Siddiqui alone. So he would have his own, the provosts and the deans and the chairpersons of the department and the faculty and the various administrators. So I am 100% sure that yes, there is a good team in IBA Sukkur that obviously has delivered it as an institution of repute and quality. Now, we have to look from within. IBS Sukkur, and obviously when I say we, people who are responsible in terms of appointing, there has got to be talent there, and there must be talent there because of IBS Sukkur, especially the young blood. So they must be given an opportunity, and they must definitely be explored by the people who will be responsible for appointing, the next vice chancellor of the university. Likewise, one must never close doors to outside talent. There will be a lot of people in Sindh. There are a lot of faculty who might even be working in Karachi institutions, who might be working in Hyderabad, who might be working in Nawab Shah, whether they are working in the business faculty or they are working in IT faculty, because those were the two strong faculties within IBS Sukkur. You will find a lot of young blood. You will find talented people who would be willing to work within IPA. And then by the same token, even though like I said, I've been an academic at heart, there are also sometimes we have also seen based on experience that there are also administrators who can run academic institutes. And there are many examples. I can give you one example. Shams Qasim Laka did not have an MD or an MBBS degree. He ran Aga Khan University. Similarly, an example of a military man, General Asghar, ran National University of Science and Technology, which is now the number. So these are the two number one universities in Pakistan, which is medical and engineering, and both run by non-academics, or even I should say non-PhDs. So one should also have to look outside the academic domain and see whether we have qualified bureaucrats. Like Nisar Siddiqui himself was a bureaucrat. He was a secretary. He was a commissioner. He was home secretary at one time. So I think we will definitely find a lot of talent that is capable of running IBS Sukkur.
Yeah. Okay. Let's continue the same discussion with Dr. Turk and to get his comments. That, as far as I know, like, we always have the people who are the torch holders or the flag bearers. So I heard some talks today about the life of Mr. Siddiqui. Some people were comparing him with that after the Shamsul Ulama, Daud Pota, or some other big personalities. He was the one in recent or modern history of Sindh that who was able to establish an institute like IBA. So, and the interesting point is these people set their bar so high that sometimes it becomes very difficult to compare another person or to start visioning another person in the same kind of or with the same level, that okay, this person is a replacement of Mr. Siddiqui. So if I heard correctly, Dr. Turk, you've been involved and you have visited IBA several times. Can you say that there are a few people you can say that they have the same vision, or they can be, you don't have to tell if you don't want to, but just even people.
Let me tell you this. I think that only time can show, because we can. I'm almost sure there are people within IBA. I'm almost certain, and they are young bloods. And I'm not saying because Javed is here. Javed, when he joined Zabis, he was very young. He was not an old man. He did not have any administrative, practically speaking, experience, especially in Pakistan and society like Pakistan. And he proved himself, and I think Sana is very proud that they stole our star from us and built the Zabis. So, same way I would say that I know a lot of young gentlemen in IBA Sukkur. They are very capable, but I will agree with Javed that we should never close the doors. We should be open, because this is not a matter of we have to look at the institution. We have to look for the institution. We have to build the institution. If there's really a good person from outside, we should definitely give them a chance. And in that respect, let me say that we should not only look for discriminate anyone on the basis of ethnicity. If there's any non-Sindhi who is passionate, honest, capable person, I'll pick that person at the blink of my eye, because I know these people are, we need institution builders. So we should not exclude any possibility. For sure, yes, we should try to encourage the youth and young professors of the IBA. They should be the first priority. But if there is a person, I would definitely consider that person if I was in that position, which I'm not.
Thank you, sir. Now, I'm not sure that Dr. Laghari, if you are able to see the comments on the screen. We have a viewer who's Gul Rind watching from Sindh. He has a question that his question is regarding the funding of IBA Sukkur. He said he found Nisar Saab was so credible and excellent to mobilize funds from different sources due to his personal sources or his credibility. So following that question, he's asking like how a new team can follow it or how government support can continuously, like how they can get that government support. So I'm not sure, Dr. Lagaris, if you want to answer this question.
Yeah, well, of course, first of all, by the HEC law, the government is bound to support all chartered universities in Pakistan, and they support them both for development funds and for recurring. Recurring are basically the salaries of the staff and so on. Currently, Pakistan, of course, is going through bad times because of COVID-19. And one needs to understand that there are already cuts by almost 50% in all universities of Pakistan. So I presume, so it will not just be confined to IBA Sukkur, that all of a sudden the funding for IBA Sukkur drops and people are going to assume that, well, as long as Nisar was there, we were getting a lot of money and now we are not getting. Let me tell you that all universities in Pakistan are going to face a major financial crisis over the next 12 months. And that includes IBA Sukkur. So the major chunk, 90% of the funding of a university anyway comes from the government. It comes either from HEC and sometimes it also comes from the provincial government. In case of IBA Sukkur, it also came from the provincial government. 10% of the funding, of course, comes from non-government sources. And that is where would be the challenge in terms of fundraising for the new director or the vice chancellor of IBA, that how much more would they be able to raise funds. They have to be innovative. Obviously, an IBA Sukkur, by the way, currently is not just confined to IBA Sukkur. There are 13 community colleges also that are associated with IBA Sukkur. Okay.
Yeah.
So IBA Sukkur will also have to run those, and IBA Sukkur is going to, of course, have a big financial lobby for big financial support from the government of Sindh as well, because the support of the community colleges comes from the provincial government and not from the federal government.
Thank you, sir. So
I will add
before
to that,
I go to the next question, before I go and to ask Dr. Turk a question, I would like to say thank you to all our viewers. One, Pakhi Pardazi Saab, he's watching, and then our friend from Houston, Akhtar Ali Khwaja is watching. He says it's a wonderful program. And we have Zafarullah Bhutto, he's also watching our show and he is giving his regards. And so, yeah, so once again, I say, please feel free to ask any questions while we have these respectable speakers tonight with us, and we take the advantage of that and ask as much as we can. So, Dr. Ajaz, let's focus our discussion on the life of Mr. Siddiqui. So tell us about your interaction with Mr. Siddiqui on behalf of Sana. How did he first approach Sana, or Sana approached him? What was the can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Let me tell you how we started a relationship with that IBA. Was that असां जो सना जो हिकिड़ो दोस्त member he was a scholar, he himself was an educationist and also a political activist, Dr. Feroz Ahmed. उनजी वफ़ात खां पोइ तक़रीबन असां मुंहिंजे ख़्याल में 20 साल थी विया, we established a fund called Fame Fund, which was basically a scholarship fund. उन सिलसिले में we started approaching different institutions, and that's how we built the relationship with the IBA and with other institutions also. But we became very close to IBA because it was very encouraging. And when we went there, I have been every time I go to Pakistan now, it is just like my Satkarma Zarur, just as I do. I was welcomed there also, and her very windows I used to see a change. This is very different and a positive change. Sindh University was a negative change in India. Liaquat Medical University was a negative change in India. अब यूं जेके यूनिवर्सिटी है, IBA में हर भेरे वञिबो त हिकिड़ी नई चेंज हूंदी ऐं पॉजिटिव चेंज हूंदी. फैकल्टी में हूंदी ही, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में हूंदी ही, स्टूडेंट्स में हूंदी. And I think that credit goes to the whole team, but definitely leader of the team was Nisar Saab. He was a humble man. He came across very humble. I mean, typically, the administrator was not no, you don't have to be a dictator. That's what people have to understand, that you don't have to be no. You have to build a trust. You have to build a relationship with the students. He had a relationship. He was a father figure. His faculty used to consider him as a father. They used to look at him. Nisar was such a great guy. I had a plan. Actually, I had a seminar. He was supposed to come, and then he called me that on the same day they have a convocation. Then I was going there, and he had to go to Islamabad, emergency. So Islamabad when I got to I'm not an ordinary person. I'm not a scholar. I'm not anything. I'm just a simple, ordinary doctor. But you feel important. Because that is another thing. Team as a leader, you have to give them attention. हू माण्हुनि खे ईअं महसूस कराईंदो हो त बाबा ही जेको कुझु आहे you are a part of it, and that's what is a team building. That's why Nisar was very successful in building this team. ऐं ई जेके हींअर बि तव्हां ॻाल्हायो हिते त मां फैकल्टी वारनि सां ॻाल्हायो आहे त ईअं लॻे थो ॼणो हुनजो पीउ गुज़ारे वियो आहे. शागिर्दनि सां ॻाल्हायो आहे त हू सम्झंदा त असांजो बाबो यतीम थी आहे. त हाणे इहो आई थिंक आई हैव एनकरेज देम. No, you have to celebrate Nisar Siddiqui. You have to follow the path. If you want to really give a tribute to Nisar Siddiqui, the takreem let's build this institution. Let's move forward and make this institution a star institution of Sindh and Pakistan. I think that's the only way we can give tribute to Nisar Siddiqui, and I'm sure he will be very happy in his grave or wherever he is when he sees that, in future, IB has become one of the great institutions of Pakistan or Asia. Why not?
I personally don't have much interactions or personal meetings with Mr. Siddiqui, except when I was the part of Sana executives, and he came to visit USA, and we had I found him very humble, kind. The thing that really amazed me was that he was not a person that if there are, say, 12 people sitting in the room, that he is visible. No, until people do not tell that this person is Nisar Siddiqui, even people do not know. So he was not that like a kind of vocal, but when he spoke, that's where he got the attention. So I'm going to
Mumtaz, on a lighter note.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I used to go to IBA Sukkur, the Siddiqui Saab, सभई ॻाल्हियूं करे वियासीं, वॾो महिमान नवाज़ो, मानी ज़बरदस्त खाराईंदो. उते जेका ज़ाबिश में जेका मानी हूंदी, कणिक जूं मानियूं खाईंदी, जोर जूं खाधींदी, बाजरे जूं, चांवरनि जूं, साग, पुलाव. हुनजो दस्तरखान was fantastic, and we used to look forward. पंजाब ते मूंखे IPA जा बेहद अचनि, उते जो छा मच्छियूं, पुलाव. What a great food I had. I will always look forward to that. I hope whosoever comes, he will treat us again like that.
Okay, so I'm
I'm
going
sure
to.
Javed
Yeah.
has same experience. I'm sure.
No, no,
So
absolutely.
our, we our
From the days
yeah.
he was Commissioner Sukkur, and we used to
Uh,
go to the Commissioner House overlooking River Indus. I mean, Pallo, and you just name it.
oh my God.
It used to be a feast. And
Wow.
Chatindo, just to give you another example, when he was
Yeah.
Commissioner Sukkur,
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
flight used to leave, let us say at 3 o'clock, and we would be having lunch, and it's already 2:45, and we would say, such a flight at 3 o'clock. Baba, chat, the flight will not leave without you. He was commissioner, and I'm talking 93, 94.
Yeah.
Commissioners used to be king. So we would keep on sitting and having food till almost like 2:55. Then at 2:55, we would sit in his vehicle. A police mobile would follow with a siren. The PIA plane would be standing on the tarmac, and our car would go just straight to the plane. And
Wow.
at 2:59, we would board the plane, and then they would close the door. But he
Javed,
would still be
exactly like
protected.
that. Asa khai ma mani padil windows. It is when you put you, these are the memories. I mean, he was a true Sindhi.
Yeah.
From that perspective, as a Mehman Nawaz, he was a genuine person and had a big heart, and
Yeah.
he will be missed. He will be missed greatly,
Hmm.
not only in Zabis, but anyone who knew him.
Yeah.
What a great gentleman he was.
Yeah. In our, like my city here in Edmonton, his nephew, like his sister's son, lives here. He and I, we work in the provincial government here together. Like we sit side by side. I asked him to join us, but he said he will not be able to talk because of that emotions. Family emotions are high. So yeah, I can understand that he was a person of high integrity. He's the one who will be missed a lot. Unfortunately, I missed these feasts very that. And when he was the commissioner, I was like a little kid. Like 93 was the one year when I got like admission in university. So okay, let's continue on the same topic. I know, like if we talk about Mr. Siddiqui, this time is too short. Like we can speak for the whole night. So already our show is like 40 minutes. So I come to Dr. Laghari. Can you share any memory, like something? I really like the one we just spoke, and people will love to hear that because they hear the other ordinary stuff a lot. Any memory you want to share?
Okay, I'll share a memory which actually I communicated right on the platform of IBS Sukkur,
Okay.
which was, we had received funding from the USAID to set up centers for innovation and entrepreneurship in Pakistan, and they were to be
Mhm.
set up only in 12 universities out of 100 plus. So IBS Sukkur was one of the universities that we had chosen, and so they were one of the first recipients to establish the center. And for the inauguration, of course, I went to Sukkur, and this was the big event taking place, the formal inauguration, and the US aid people and embassy people were also there. So it was out there when, of course, I had to talk about Nisar. So I actually communicated this story that, I had found Nisar to be so enterprising and innovative, which is what the center was about, that when we were together in Washington, D.C., when we were seeking this funding, and wherever I would have a meeting where I as chairman of HEC, was supposed to go to,
Mhm.
Nisar had already arrived there before me. He was already talking to them about getting money for IBS Sukkur before I could talk to them to get money for HEC. So I communicated that story right on stage, and then everybody said, "My God!" I said, "You got a great director." At the time, the position was that of a director, IBS Sukkur, and not a vice chancellor. So
Yeah.
he was that type of a person who would go out of the way and
Yeah.
work for the institution.
That is great. That is great. So let's conclude our show tonight. But before I conclude, to add some more value to our show, as we said, Dr. Turk was describing his personality that whoever met Dr. Siddiqui, he made them feel valued. That's the word I would use. That every one person like felt valued. That every person has the value. That's also the kind of uh, I would say a good or I would say a good ability or of any person, and it's a good attribute of any society that every person should be valued. Unfortunately, back home in Pakistan, society is so divided into different classes. So, Dr. Ajaz, if I ask you that give any three qualities to Dr. Siddiqui's personality, what three qualities you would say that these are the three qualities which would make him distinct?
I was, I'll be exaggerating. I was
You can
not
say
a
five
very
qualities, not like three.
close friend of Siddiqui Saab, but I think one of the quality was he was a dreamer.
Dreamer, great.
Dreamer, and he was a very ambitious. किथे भी वेंदो न कंहिं बि यूनिवर्सिटी में वियो ॾिसंदो का नई शइ ॾिसंदो चवंदो why can't we have it in IBA Sukkur?
Yeah.
And he used to really work to get that, try to get that त उते IBA Sukkur में थिए त इहे जेके आहिनि न ॻाल्हियूं त हू IBA was just like his child. हू पंहिंजो ॿार हूंदो आहे न का शइ सुठी अथव मां पंहिंजे ॿार लाइ इहा वठां त हुनखे इहा हूंदी ऐं इहा फुज़ूल शइ न which can contribute to the building of that institution. Something new, something extraordinary. Harvard में ॾिसंदो, MIT में ॾिसंदो, why can't we have this? त इहे जेके ॻाल्हियूं हुयूं न that shows the sincerity of the person. And IBA खे हू पंहिंजो ॿार, पंहिंजो घर, पंहिंजो I mean IBA became everything for him. And he did everything possible he could do for IBA. So I wish we can get next person who, if not better than him, is at least like him. Then I'm sure IBA Sukkur has a very, very, very bright future. And we all have to. And one thing Javed was mentioning about the funding, I think it's a very important subject. That funding, ठीक आहे गवर्नमेंट त फंडिंग करे थी हिते ॾिसो न जेके अमेरिका में वी लिव इन वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड त जेके बि इदारा हूंदा आहिनि न त मेजॉरिटी ऑफ फंडिंग उनजी गवर्नमेंट जी कोन थींदी आहे प्राइवेट सेक्टर मां थींदी आहे ऐं असांजी जेका सोसाइटी आहे उन्हनि खे असांखे ट्रेन करणो पवंदो ऐं ॿियो जेको फंड रेज़िंग जेका आहे सर इट इज़ नॉट समथिंग अबाउट एजाज़ तुर्क जी फंड रेज़िंग इट इज़ एन साइंस इट्स एन आर्ट. You have to be very, very scientific. You have to hire a person who's expert in fundraising, who can reach out to private institutions, corporations, and you have to develop an endowment fund. IBA Sukkur, now this is something new. We have to, America में जेके वॾियूं यूनिवर्सिटीज़ आहिनि, हार्वर्ड आहे and उनजो सभिनी जो पंहिंजो न पंहिंजो यूनिवर्सिटी मिशिगन आहे, नॉटर डेम आहे, they have a huge endowment fund. That they should not be dependent. Tomorrow, crisis, economical crisis, that government may, so they have to fall back on something. So I think they should start working on that, establish an endowment fund for future. Graduates and they should contribute. Sukkur division of Manu, Sindh ja Manu, Sindh ja जेके इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट आहिनि उन्हनि सभिनी ते इनखे ऐं जेका वॾा वॾा जेके ज़मींदारनि खे थोरो शर्म अचणु घुरिजे हाणे हया अचणु घुरिजे त बाबा शिकार न कयो वज़ीरनि ते जिते वॾा ख़र्च था कयो उन्हनि जी दावतूं था कयो ख़ुदा जे वास्ते थोरो हया शर्म कयो कुझु तइलीमी इदारनि खे पुॼो. I think we can do a lot and this could be done.
I'm going back to Dr. Laghari.
Laghari. Let me add to what Ajaz Turk actually has already said. Please, again, as a part of a major initiative, again supported by the USAID, because this is the American model when you raise money for the fundraising and the endowment. All universities in Pakistan for the last 8 or 10 years have already established these departments, which are, I don't know what these departments are called, something to do with development and fundraising. And alumni was also a part of that, where they would seek out and reach out to the alumni to be able to, because what we were foreseeing is, yes, one will have to reach out to the private sector to raise funds for a university. So these departments do exist in all universities, and they are trained by USAID people, and I'm sure they already exist in Sukkur IBA as well. So they have got to, especially this year and the next year, I think those departments have got to be very, very active in terms of trying to seek additional funding for the university.
Oh, that is great news. That's good news for the people who are watching and who are thinking about what's going to happen to the future of IBA. So, Dr. Laghari, I'm going to, as we are reaching to the end of our show, any 3 qualities, attributes you would say about? I know he was the man of many talents, but three qualities.
Well, I think even as a part of this discussion, we would isolate the following properties. First of all, he was very passionate
Passionate. Okay,
for
great.
education, for IBA Sukkur. He was very determined. Once he would have something on his mind, he would go out and try to accomplish it and get it. So he has this property of he was very determined, he was very passionate, and then of course he was very sincere, down to earth, honest, hardworking person.
Very well said. Thank you very much, sir, for tonight coming and joining our show, A Closer Look with Ali Mumtaz. And I am deeply and uh, very much thankful again for your precious time. And I hope all the people across the globe who are watching us, they will be amazed to know that how the multi-dimensional personality of Mr. Siddiqui was there and how he was capable to drive and achieve his dreams. As Dr. Turks very well said, he was a dreamer. So there's a quotation that always shoot for the stars, even if you miss, you will land in galaxy. So he was the man of that type that, okay, he was a high dreamer. So as a result, he was able to achieve, to establish an institute like IBA. So with that note, we are going to end our show and would love to see you in our next show with a new topic with our respectable and notable speakers again. Till then, bye.
Thank you.